Do you dream to build a productive homestead where you grow your own food and build a healthy life? Even if you don't have much ground, you can start now. Hi, we live on a small 1/2 acre homestead and provide 80% of our food, and we want to share some ideas to help you start your own, to become more self-reliant, creating a more wholesome way of life with little or even no land. We are Kevin and Allie, and we have lived on our 1/2 acre for 36 years. We've learned a lot. We've raised our children here, organic vegetables, animals for meat, milk, and eggs, all while providing a sense of fulfillment at the end of each day. If you have a kitchen, a small backyard, a 1/4 acre, or even an acre, you can start now. We are sure that you'll enjoy these ideas to help you get started towards your dream today. Homesteading starts in the kitchen. We all need to eat, and eating food that we prepare and eat at the dinner table without distractions gives us a better connection with our food and our family. In a homesteading sense, cooking at home is an early step towards self-reliance. The practice encourages learning new skills like bread making, canning, and preserving, so that fewer store-bought staples are needed. And the best part is, it cuts down on processed foods and saves money at the same time. Try your hand at fermenting foods. This is an excellent and easy way to learn how to preserve food, and it's excellent for gut health. And all it requires is the vegetables, non-iodized salt like real salt, water, a jar, and a lid. If you don't have any land, then you can grow things like sprouts, microgreens, and windowsill herbs. These are nutrient-dense foods that don't require any outdoor spaces to grow, and you can grow them year-round. These are all small steps, but they really are the first steps. Gather books and learning materials. A good library of gardening books and homesteading books that you can study before and while homesteading can be a great resource. Of course, you know I'm going to say grow a garden. It doesn't take much room to grow some kind of food, and this gives you a connection to your food. A connection to food just means that you understand and appreciate the journey and the stages of that food right till it hits your plate. If your space is limited, grow in grow bags. They can be used year after year, and they collapse down to nothing, taking little space up when they're not being used during the winter. And you can grow any type of vegetable, and they can be very productive. If you have a small 3x6 bed, you can grow a large amount of greens throughout the spring and then intercrop with the warm season vegetables to take over that space. As one crop declines, the other can take over, using that space to the fullest. Increase your garden space as you can. Our main garden is 3,000 square foot. It's plenty of food for myself and Kevin to preserve and eat fresh, plus enough for other family members, as well as enough to grow extra to sell in our market store. We didn't start out with a garden this size. Our first garden was a small space behind our apartment. While I grew up in a garden, I didn't really know much. My first garden taught me the most. Did you know that rhubarb Swiss chard is entirely different than the perennial rhubarb? That was one of my first garden learning curves when we first got married. By growing a garden and cooking, you learn all kinds of things. And some of those things can be pretty funny that you can put in your journal for your great-grandchildren to laugh at. What we're doing is building a homestead knowledge base. We all have to start somewhere, and starting is the most important part. I'll put a link in the comments of a tier of the size of garden that you'll need to feed a family of 4. If you aren't ready to start gardening yet, then you can start to observe the land of where you might be putting your garden. Make sure that it has enough sun, or that there are no tree roots that can interfere. And make sure that it works for your flow for you. Learn to make compost. This is the simple way to improve soil health and dispose of kitchen scraps. Compost is one of the best things that you can do to improve vegetable production. Compost can be made indoors with simple kitchen composters, or even start a worm bin. Worms are great little decomposers of plant-based kitchen scraps, and you get valuable worm castings in return with a small footprint. They can be kept in the garage or outside in places that have mild winters.
Rainwater can be collected on any level, and it's a good idea to have in case there was ever a water shortage. Rainwater doesn't have the chemicals in it like your municipal water does. It's really good for making compost teas, worm teas, and plants prefer it. On the small level, you can collect rainwater in buckets, or you can use a collapsible container like this from Vever. These things work very well, they're very sturdy, and they're great for holding water. For more water storage, these IBC tanks are stackable and economical and can be found on most marketplaces.
Small animals like rabbits, quail, and chickens are great introductory animals to start with in your backyard or on small homesteads with all different purposes. Quail are a dual-purpose bird. They can offer meat as well as eggs. You do have to have an enclosure for your quail because they have a tendency to wander off and not return, like chickens do. Chickens have that homing instinct. Quail will start to lay eggs at about 6 to 8 weeks, which is really quick as compared to the chicken. You can also start to butcher them at this time and have a high-quality meat at a fairly fast return. I find that chickens are easier to raise than quail, but those of you who have raised quail before, please chime in on this because we'd love your opinion. Quail are absolutely beautiful and they make the funnest noises, and it might be the right bird for you to start with. Chickens are some of the easiest farm animals to raise, and usually once you start getting into chickens, it becomes addictive. Many breeds can be very friendly. If you are just starting out, try a couple of different ones to see what you like best. There are different breeds for different climates, and there is the perfect chicken for you and your area. Besides the fact that you'll have some of the best tasting eggs out there, when the stores run out, you'll still have your backyard egg production with little effort. Chicken manure has a value all of its own. It's high in minerals. It has nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. It's one of the richest composts that you can make. And here's a link if you want to learn more on how to make chicken manure. All these small animals are great for kids to start learning to care for animals, where their food actually comes from, responsibility and work ethics, and of course, the cycle of life. Originally, that's why we started our little homestead. Now, it's become a way of life. As you start to expand your space and your know-how, you might want to start thinking about a dairy animal, and goats just might be the next step. Goats can provide excellent milk, and then you can turn it into making butter, kefir, yogurt, and cheese. If you just want to start learning about goats but aren't ready to start milking yet, then maybe you might want to start with a wether, which is a castrated male. They can be very friendly. And then once you get comfortable with that, then you can work your way into a milking dairy goat. Whatever you choose, you'll want to have 2 goats at least, because one goat can be very lonely, and then that could possibly be a very loud, lonely goat. There are smaller milk goats like Nigerian dwarfs and are great for small spaces. Ours are Nubians. You want to do some research to make sure that you find the right goat for you and the space that they're going to be living in. Dairy goats are definitely a step up from smaller animals. You'll need to be sure that you have a supply of food on hand if you don't have pastures or a place for them to graze. You will need to be there every day to milk, twice a day. So it's a real commitment. You are in it for the long haul. Maybe you have a neighbor or a friend that raises dairy goats or cows and do a milk share. You can get fresh milk. In return, you can do the chores of milking while they're away or even on weekends. This is an excellent way to build community while learning. Maybe you don't have the ground yet, but there are always options. You just have to be willing to look around and ask. You never know what might happen. I believe that you have to be mindful and prayerful, and things will work out at the right time. Even if you have a small backyard, you can have an orchard. One mature fruit tree can provide 200 pounds of fruit a season. This is where you can learn ways to preserve that fruit for winter use. A variety of small fruits like blackberries, raspberries, currants, and gooseberries are great beginner fruits, and some can even be grown in pots. Dwarf trees can be planted pretty close together, or you could plant semi-dwarf trees and keep them trimmed so that you can squeeze more in a small space. We have 48 fruit trees on our 1/2 acre. Some are planted as close as 8 foot apart along the fence. Others are 12 foot apart. Did you know that if you planted the right types of trees together, you could plant 3 trees in the same hole, providing 3 different types of fruit, taking up very little space? This is called high-density orchard planting, or backyard orchard culture. The idea is to have a variety of fruit trees within the same root zone, maximizing your small space while providing a diversity of fruit. There's no way that we can be 100% self-sufficient. We have to rely on others. But if we build a community and do our part, then we'll have to rely less on outside influences. Homesteading on any level isn't for everyone. The central purpose of homesteading is to live more self-sufficiently by growing, raising, and producing as many of your essential resources as possible, so that you rely less on external systems and gain greater control over your daily life. And folks, be ready. It's lots of work, so be mindful of what you can do now. Start small and grow as you learn and have the ability. We couldn't have got through this cold, frigid day without this heated jacket from Aurora.
Aurora heated jackets are powered by lithium-ion battery technology with 3 adjustable heated settings that heat up in seconds and can keep heating up to 10 hours on low. These jackets come in many different styles and lengths that are water and wind resistant, perfect for outdoor adventures, work, or everyday wear. Get out and stay warm with Aurora. Check out the link in the description.
Thank you for your support, kindness, and love. And may God bless you and guide you on your journey.